Okay, if you are installing window treatments, blinds, on a regular basis, these are the essential tools that you are going to need. And I'm just doing a real quick review on everything that I have. This is not all the tools. Obviously, there's other ladders, 6 foot, 8 foot, A-frame ladders, and then of course extension ladders for really high places. Above like 12 and 14 feet. And I'm comfortable with going up about 20, 21 feet. And then after that, I like to bring in scaffolding. But a lot of places won't go much higher than that because it's just, unless you're used to working really high, it's just not fun being way up in the air. But you do get used to it as the day goes on. But anyway, basic essentials for installing, first and foremost, the drivers. So people call them drills, but they're different because drivers have a bit holding system that allows for like a 1/4 inch drive, whereas a drill, which is over there, will allow you to open and close the size of the holder so that you can hold different size bits. So that's the difference between a drill and a driver. So putting in blinds, you use drivers, and I have two DFC 610s, and then and they have a 2 amp battery, and each one of those will run 3-4 houses before I have to recharge. I always use an extension on mine so that I can get back into places and in between clips and up a little bit higher, as opposed to just putting this right on the driver holder. I like to use these little extensions, and then of course they pop right off if I want to change them out real quick. So this is really helpful for me on a day-to-day basis because I'm changing all the time, and I have extra bits down here. So then of course you need the charger, and then on a day-to-day basis we're measuring a lot. We use a laser, a digital laser, to measure everything. I should have brought one of those out here, but it's just a little handheld laser. We don't really use tape measures anymore. And then of course for measuring shutters, I use this thing called a Measure Fix, and it allows me to open that up as wide as I want, and then I can move it up and down inside the window to see if the window size fluctuates. If not, then I know it's pretty straight. And anyway, it's got a readout right there. So, but this is really important to have. It's a cordless chop saw. Runs on a DeWalt 20 volt max 5 amp battery, and if you ever need to trim your balances or cut a fascia or anything, I use a 7 1/4 inch 60 tooth bit or a blade, and it really does a nice job on cutting things. It's as good or not better than what I get from the factory. Tool belt is essential. You have to have a tool belt. Carry all your screwdrivers and pliers, scissors, knives. You do need a lighter from time to time to whip rope, whip cord, reattach cords. When you're doing jobs like in commercial buildings or bathrooms where you have to drill the tile or the porcelain or the granite or the marble, you're going to need a really good drill, and of course a variety of different types of bits for metal and for stone and ceramic and granite and porcelain. And then of course you usually do need a little extension cord to get to the places you need to go, and sometimes you need a longer one than that. But anyway, so those are just some of the basic tools that you need. I got lots and lots of bits, parts for putting blinds back together, rope, batteries for motorized blinds, upper and lower limit ball, chain connectors, stud finder, battery tester. Now this thing right here, this is my own invention. This is called a blind centering tool. And basically it's just like a popsicle stick, but it's bigger, and it's about 1/8 of an inch wide, and it's rounded, and I use it to center the blind. So when I put the blind up in the window, if the blind needs to go a little to the left or a little to the right, I was using a screwdriver or sometimes a little putty knife, but then I ran across this little jewel, and I won't tell you what industry uses this, but I really like this thing, and I use it for a couple things. Number one, centering the blind, moving the blind over a little bit to the left or the right. Very handy for that, so I keep it in my shirt pocket and I use it 100 times a day. And then I also use it to retuck material into like fascia. Sometimes the material covered fascias, the material kind of comes out from behind the plastic, and I use this to kind of pry it back down inside. And then when I'm doing vertical application cellulars, I use this to pry open the little carrier clips that hold the fabric to the carrier. If you're not familiar with that, I can probably show you that at some other point, but and I don't see any carrier clips in here that I could show you how that works. But anyway, lots of tools, spackle for fixing holes, got tin snips for cutting metal that goes on the sides of fascia clips, and of course batteries, and I've got a lot of other